Hi, course support volunteers. This is a little video about the jobs that you're going to be doing during the day. Just a brief description. It actually walks through a document, so there's notes to read if you'd like to read the notes as well, with lots more details. I'm not going to go over everything that's in the document. That would be 45 minutes and super boring. So let me share this document with you, though, and we'll get started. So the document has kind of a schedule at the beginning. I will, in the email, map out exactly where you're supposed to be, when to start the day. Everyone winds up being a sag wagon during the day, so no big deal. You do not have to reference the schedule. This is more for me. But the order of the document is in the order of the schedule. So it's going to talk about sign patrol, water delivery, Springtown Road, rollout of the courses, being a sag wagon, and then water pickup and how we close the day out. So there's a schedule for Saturday and Sunday. This will move around. If you're going to look at the document early, be careful. Might not be that early. Then the next page is about vehicles and phone numbers. Everyone will have this so you can call one another. That will be important. The vehicles are not perfectly laid out yet. These might change a little bit. Haven't quite assigned everyone. So don't take a look at this stuff too early. So here's the different jobs that you might be doing. Sign patrol is one of the earliest starting jobs, starts around 6:30. We put signs in the ground on Friday, but Saturday morning and Sunday morning, we check to make sure that they're still there. Usually they are. We haven't had too many problems, although early on at the beginning of the ride, we had a little bit of a problem Saturday night in some of the north sections of the course, but that's gone away. But you will find a sign missing or two due to wind or traffic or weather, or not being installed well in the first place and blowing off, various little issues. But you shouldn't find too much. So sign patrol, you and a partner. Meeting point is 162 Huguenot Street. There'll be a vehicle there for you. You need to set that vehicle up to be a course support vehicle. So it's going to get a toolbox, bike tools, bike pump, clipboard with all the information on it, and some signs. So a small selection of signs, depending on where you're going, whether they're north signs or south signs, some stickers, some things you can make impromptu signs if you need to. Even a magic marker should be in there. So things to make a sign if you need to. A good sign, a sign to replace our regular signs. The general task is making sure the signs are there. That should be done starting 6:30, 7 o'clock, hopefully ending by about the time the riders are done, 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's 50 miles of road, so it's going to take at least an hour and a half. It's rural roads. The biggest, most important thing here is if you come across a section of road that doesn't have signs, look further before you start putting in more than a couple of signs. If you're missing a couple of signs, go ahead. And then if you find out you're missing more signs, keep driving. Make sure you get an assessment of how many signs you're missing and whether or not you need help, and call in. We will send a team out for you. If you have 10 miles of signs missing, we'll send a team out. We'll get those signs in the ground before the riders get there. Don't rely on doing everything by yourself. It's super, super important. You got to manage that a little bit. So you're going to wind up calling me if you need help. Next thing that leaves, the next earliest thing to happen is water delivery. So we used to have the folks in the rest stop come to Huguenot Street and get everything. But water didn't really carry well in a lot of people's cars. So we're going to send up 2 trucks out, one to go north, one to go south. You're going to be packed up with waters and coolers, Gatorade, lots of ice. You're going to make deliveries to every rest stop first thing in the morning. You're just going to be leaving the stuff there. There will not be people there yet. You're just leaving, coolers on the table, 2 of you delivering per route, and you're also going to be setting up to be a sag wagon after that. Chances are you'll be asked to deliver more water during the day. The same vehicle will be used for delivering water in the morning, delivering water in the day, and then picking up these coolers at night. So a big job. You may not be the same person morning and evening, depending on how the schedule works, but the vehicle will be the same. You'll be trading that vehicle off to another group potentially during the day. Lots more details about that through here. Springtown Road. 299 and Springtown Road. So the first intersection that the riders get to is a split. Some go to the left, some go to the right. North goes to the left, south and the 25 goes to the right. We've always had a person there with a sign. We also have a police presence there. It's 2.5 miles into the course. The folks are still grouped together. We have traffic stop there when the riders come through, keep them safe. So the police department is directing traffic. You are not. That's one thing to know there. If you're assigned to the spot, you are not directing traffic, please. But you are counting riders. You're helping the riders make sure they go in the correct directions. You're not stopping them because they're going to basically be in a big group. So the first riders out are all going to go left. And then after that, the second and third riders are going to go straight across the bridge. There is a video here with instructions for that. There are links here to the locations. You start at Ulster County Fairground. You have to get a particular wooden sign or a wooden stake, a sign on a wooden stake to use at that intersection. And there's some particular messages here about how to do this properly. It's something we've done for years here at the spot. Sure, it'll go very well, but most importantly, you got to keep yourself safe. Here's a little map of the same thing. Here's the intersection we're talking about. The north folks go left. Everyone else goes straight. There'll be police here. Again, watch the video. It's only 2 minutes long. Really quick video. Okay, course rollout. As the groups leave the fairground. So this starts at the fairground. As our 8 o'clock group leaves the fairground, we will have a car follow them from the fairground all the way to 299 Springtown Road. As the 9 o'clock groups leave the fairground, there'll be a group that's going north. There'll be a group that's going to the south 50. There'll be a group that's going to south 25. They'll be separated by a few minutes. Each one of those groups will get a car behind them. That car basically follows that group all the way to the bridge. It allows the folks at the bridge to know that that group is done. It also allows for the fact that many of the bike issues that people will have will be discovered in those first 2.5 miles. So you'll be a first responder for a bicyclist who needs some help. It's actually pretty common to need a bike pump or need a screwdriver or an Allen wrench, and the biker tends to know what to do, or because there's a pack of bikers, they'll tend to know what to do. If you are handy, that's awesome, but not required. But if a biker goes, needs help, you simply pull in behind them. You're keeping them safe on the road, and very, very important job in that case. Then after that, you tend to become a sag wagon. So this will be very coordinated from start finish. Important role. Communicate back as to what's happening. A sag wagon. So this is the general job of pretty much everyone during the day. SAG stands for support and gear. Support and gear. And sag wagon, you may start wherever you finish your other job, or you may start at the Ulster County Fairgrounds if you haven't had an early morning job. You need the cue sheets, you need the toolbox, you need the med kit, you need the bike pump. You should have some water with you, a gallon or two of water in a good sealed container. You may be using your own vehicle. You may be using one of our borrowed vehicles. You should have a flashing light on the top. You should use that flashing light. You should use hazard lights. Unless you're just traveling from one spot to another and not on the course, you should be using those lights. So details about sag wagon. There's actually a couple of pages here. First thing is kind of what you need, what you're going to have in your vehicle. There's a video for that, which I'll link on here. There's also a video of how to change a flat tire. Something good to watch before you go and do this. Not that you'll necessarily have to, but it's good to know. So a little bit about the basics. First of all, every rest stop and start finish has porta potties, so there's bathrooms to use. You should take a break during the day. It's important that you keep yourself happy, that you keep yourself alert and therefore safe. That's the only way you can keep our riders happy and alert and safe. In the south routes, there are nice places to eat in places like Gardner. The North Route is pretty rural. Feel free to help yourself to food at the rest stops. That is totally fair game. Um, please bring a phone charger with you. If you're using maps a lot, your phones will use up a lot of battery. And in places there's not great reception, that also increases battery usage. So please bring a phone charger. Remember, there is a volunteer dinner, I believe at Field of Dreams. You'll get information from Angela about that. I hope to see you there. So to start the day, you get your vehicle. It's very important in the morning that you have some time in your vehicle to set your phone up, get acclimated with the vehicle, find out where the switches are. If you're not a Jeep or Ram driver, typically, things are going to be different in there than what you're used to. Get your seating position comfortable, get your mirrors set, get your lights set up, make sure the vehicle has what it needs. We do have some bike racks around. We'll be setting up the vehicles in the morning. That's an important job to get comfortable with that so that you can have a good, successful day. During the day, we'd like you to track riders. You can count riders as you're coming up to a rest stop. If you find the back of the pack and carefully get by the riders, you can count with a clicker, which is found in the toolbox, how many riders, and when you get to the rest stop, you can find out how many riders have been there already. And that's kind of a double confirmation of, hey, we have 120 riders on the course. I just saw 40. You've already seen 80. There we go. We're at around 120. Want to let you know that at any time during the day, you can call me at my cell phone number 203-214-9797. It's going to be lots and lots of documents. Call Angela if you can't get a hold of me. We have an EMT on staff. We also have a doctor volunteer this year. So plenty of people to help there. If something seems like you shouldn't call me first, call 911. Certainly if someone is in a traffic accident, call 911. If a biker is in dire need of an ambulance, call 911. There's some things that we can take care of and some things that it's best not to delay on. We're going to let you use your judgment on that, I hope. Other things. Okay, so while en route, very, very important that the driver drives and the co-pilot takes care of the phone and the maps and the other visuals going on inside the car. It's very important that you drive in such a way that you keep bikers safe, which means if the road is really narrow and curvy, just be patient and ride behind the riders, which will block traffic. And that's okay, because that's also helping keeping the riders safe. Lots of information here about various things that you should be doing during the day. We'd love to have you take pictures. Lots of pictures of people is great. Make sure you take pictures of one another. Include the vehicles in that. Use your hazard lights. You may be just out driving, and in which case you're kind of looking for people who need help. You may be called to a particular situation. In the process, try to keep track of where you are, what town you're in. It's hard to do if you're not local. How far along the route are you? How many miles into the route are you? That actually helps me figure out where you are if you need to call in. We do have a bike mechanic available also. Phone numbers here. If riders are slow, it's totally okay to put their bike on your car, have them get in the car and bring them forward on the path somewhere, bring them to the next rest stop, for example, let them get some food, and then let them ride again. If a rider needs some assistance, they don't have to call it a day. You can get them back up with the pack and get them riding again. And that's totally okay. That's totally good. And certainly if someone's near the end, you might want to encourage folks who are struggling and seem like they're going to be out for a long time to instead get forward on the ride and finish the ride, rather than do the complete ride. Sunday, we'll be pulling signs out of the ground. At the end of the day, we do need to make sure that everyone's off the course, so we will do something called sweeping. So that means you make sure you've picked up the last rider on the course, and you drive the course. You pull in at each rest stop. You let the rest stop personnel know, hey, there's no one on the course yet. You guys can pack up and go home. You might even be the vehicle that picks up the coolers, food and stuff they will bring back on their own, and then keep riding the course until we get all the way to start finish. So there will be someone assigned to doing some caboose work at the end of the day. I think that pretty much concludes. Oh no, it doesn't. Top of the Gunks, of course. Top of the Gunks, a pop-up rest stop. So we do not have permission to have a rest stop at the top of the Gunks. This is the top of the biggest hill on the North 50 course. It's at a golf course and the entrance to the Mohonk Reserves. It's a really beautiful spot, a spot to have a lot of fun in. Top of the Gunks, the way to do it is to have some water with you, fill up water bottles, take your vehicle and drive down the hill that they are riding up. You can actually pick people up at the bottom or let people know that they can be picked up along the way if they need to be. If they're riding up and get super tired, it's actually better for them to turn around and ride down to a safe spot to load their bike on the car than it is to try to load them up in the middle of the hill. So sometimes it's good to have someone near the bottom of the hill just to explain what's going on, especially as the day progresses on. The early riders will be strong; they'll go right up the hill. But when we get to like 1 o'clock or 1:30, those riders might need a little help. And at that point, if you're assigned to the top of the Gunks, you'll probably get sag wagons there also coming along to help. So this is a very popular spot if you're on the North Course to go and assist, even if you're not assigned here. That's a kind of important message that I have for this one. Let's see. Here's a map of the top of the Gunks, where you're positioned, where riders are coming up. It's also critical that because they are starting a huge downhill descent as well, they're very tired from coming up the hill. The folks who are a little later in the process, a little not as strong, you want to get them to try to stop, pause, fill up with water, make sure they're ready for a ride down the hill, make sure their hands have good grip for brakes and stuff. And that's the description of the jobs for course support. This document will be available. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm going to try to make phone calls to all of you this week so that we iron everything out. The email itself will actually have the details of where you're starting and what your jobs are. You do not have to try to find your name in the schedules. And this will keep changing during the week. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful time at the event. I'm wishing you the best.